What's going on, 49er faithful, 49er fan, 49er gang? This is your boy Niner Gang Podcast back in the building. So definitely hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, turn on those post notifications so I can keep you up to date on any and everything San Francisco 49ers. That being said, let's get right on into it, man. So we got a special guest that will be along in just a moment. As y'all saw in the description, my buddy Mose Knows is going to be on. Cook and Smoke Sports, what's happening with you? He is going to come on and hang out with your boy, talking about this defensive line that the 49ers have invested in. Now, we all know that they continually invest in the defensive line, usually with the first pick of the draft. The only time they haven't done that since John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan have gotten here is when they drafted Trey Lance. So, even with this second pick in the draft that we had last year, we went ahead and went with a young rookie by the name of Drake Jackson out of USC. So, oh yeah, Cook and Smoke. We going to get to that. We're definitely going to get to that. So, with that being said, we have so many defensive linemen to go over, and we got some thoughts that we're going to give on each one of those people. Maybe if y'all give me just a brief moment, I feel like I need to clean this camera. So I'm going to stop cam, but y'all will hear me talking. What's going on, 49 Chanel? Give me just a sec, y'all. Just have to clean this off real fast. But the camera is a little blurry. Make sure it's crispy. Right. And now that we are nice and crispy, there it is. Now I look like a normal person. We are good to go. I got the big homie in the house, man. I'm going to go ahead and bring him on in. You know, Mr. Mose Knows. What's going on, Big Mose? How you doing, brother?
What's good with you, family? Glad to be on with you again, as always.
Same here, man. How's the fam doing?
Everybody's doing good, man. Little baby running around here, getting big, crawling all over the place, all around the house. Now we got a chaser everywhere. So, we've been through it 3 times before, but on the 4th one, getting a little bit older, knees getting a little weaker. You know what I'm saying? Energy not as high as we was when we had the first one. So she giving us a run for our money, man. But it's absolutely a joyous time in House Mose right now.
Hell yeah, man. Yeah, it's always a beautiful experience, man, when you get to see them at that age. Because they're small. You like, man, I can't wait till you walk. And then they start crawling. You like, I need you to slow down. And they start walking. You like, all right, now you're running. Jesus. Next thing you know, they start talking. And you like, I don't need you to stop talking. It's okay. I love you.
Yes.
No.
She already hitting us with the dad. And the missus a little tight about it.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about, baby.
Miss is a little tight about that right now, but I mean, listen, I can't help it. I mean, that's what she started with, you know what I mean? But
why is it that you're? I'm dad. I don't know what you want me to tell you. I'm special. You're not. You know all that. You gotta give it to him, man. You take them W's where you can.
Got to.
On a side note, on Father's Day, you see anybody on the corner selling stuff for us? You see a whole part of the store separated for us? Oh no, we don't exist. So when we get them little L's people out there, we finna take them. We gonna take every single one of them, man. But I'm glad to have you on. Hey, I'm glad to have you on, Moses. It's been a while, my good brother. As y'all see in the background, man, Nitty Gritty Niners, we support them. Nothing but love to them, man. Shout out Breezy and Peachy and Fair. You know what I'm saying? They do fantastic work. If you ain't watching Nitty Gritty Niners, I don't know what you're doing with your life. You know what I'm saying? And every single year, this man right here next to me does a mock draft for every single team in the league. So Moses' knowledge of the NFL is way beyond just basic knowledge. This dude has ingratiated himself into understanding every team. So if you don't know about Mose Knows channel, you better get to know it, because that is definitely a channel that you should watch for any of your teams.
Appreciate you.
If there are people out here that tune into this and they're Jaguar fans or they're Titan fans, whatever, he can tell you, yeah, I already know what's going wrong with your team. This is what you should be doing. Fix it. And he's usually very spot on with his picks, and he usually gives, that kind of knowledge that will allow you to be able to, be happy about things when you look at everything that he's telling you, because at the end of the day, we all want to improve and get better. But on to the real news here, man. I'm going to just start the show off with it, man. Javon Kinlaw. Good Lord. Man, look. This is how I'll start, and then I'll throw it to Mose. When you get into the NFL, when you get into the league, period, as far as NFL, MLB, hockey, whatever, you need to have people around you that show you how to move properly. If you don't have those people around you, you got to find them. You got to make sure they're genuine. And you always got to have that one friend or a couple of friends that remind you when things that you do are not correct. I will say this. Him confronting Grant was perfectly fine. How he went about it could have been better. I'm just saying because when I'm on my channel, I go crazy. He did some real nigga shit. That's what he did. He rolled up on him like, if this was in the streets, he would have it would have went a whole nother way. But what he did was he let him know, hey man, I'm telling you, there's a lot of people that don't care for you. And see, at first, I felt for Grant a little bit because that's intimidating. Kinlaw, what, 6'6", almost 300 pounds? That's a whole lot of human beings. Knock my hat right off. I'm not. He just came out the gym. I don't want the problems. I really don't. But what I will say is you got to be smart about the things about you say about a person, because it's going to come back. And that's what came back to Grant. Now, I don't feel bad for Grant anymore. You know why? Because I saw his comments. I was thinking I'm going to be a millionaire. Oh, man, I'm about to get it. Come on, bro. What are you doing? Those comments right there tell me that you openly are stating, I'm cool with taking a payday and not having to do anything. That's almost like you baiting him into doing that. He comes out and says, the beef is squashed. Everything's cool. But then we see Kinlaw come out and go, that was for the organization. Don't think anything between us is straight. You see the players come to Kinlaw's defense. That tells you this is deep. And though I don't care for the way that Kinlaw handled it, either way it happened, and you're going to have to respect him for what he did. And you're going to have to respect him as a man. He doesn't take lightly to that kind of assertion when you're basically saying, hey, man, I'm going to tell you everything. I'm going to say everything about you negative to take food out of your kid's mouth. That's how he took it. He's saying, you trying to take money out of my pocket, dog, and that's not going to work. I'm going to need you to slow down. I've critiqued players on a daily basis on this channel. I've been very open, not caring for Jalen Hurd, not caring for D Ford, not caring for Dante Pettis. But I've never attacked them personally. It's always about what you're doing on the field. Once you cross that line, you don't know what can happen. But I'm going to kick it over to Mose. Mose, what are your thoughts on that situation?
I'm gonna try to be as brief as I can because I know we got football to talk about.
Yeah.
But here's what I'll say. While I agree, I don't agree with how Kinlaw handled it. I understand it.
Mhm.
I understand it from the plight of a black man, right? I understand it from the plight of a football player trying to make a name for himself. I understand it from a plight of a football player who's trying to make a name for himself and dealing with injuries, and he's not able to fully show you what he's capable of. I understand it. Just from a human being standpoint, I understand it. Grant asked him a question. What have I said about you that you disagree with? And I get he was trying to go with an argument, but that's a rhetorical question because you know
What you
what
said?
you've said about Javon Kinlaw since he's been drafted. You know what you've said about him continuously for him to be this angry and upset with you. You know that. You know that about all of the players. You know that about Eric Armstead because you said the same things about him. You know that about Jimmy Ward because you've had the same negative things to say about him. Whether it's about their play or not, and please don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that what Grant said is wrong. I'm not saying what he said is wrong. This is his job. His job is to critique. Now, he correct in his statement where he says, "I don't attack anybody personally." Yeah, he doesn't come at their mom, their wives, their daughter, their kids. He doesn't come at their manhood. He doesn't say anything, from their personal life that could be damaging. He talks about football and they're not producing. But it's how. It's what he says. It's how he says. Prime example, I'll use myself on Nitty Gritty Niners. I've called Daniel Brunskill Bunskill. I think I'm known for calling him Bunskill. No, remove the R. He is Buns. I've said that before. Now I have a right to say that. That's my opinion. I'm putting a little bit of sauce on it, make it funny, make it humorous, but to talk about the way I feel about his play, right?
Yep.
If Daniel Brunskill felt some type of way about me calling him Bunskill, he would have every right to say, "Bro, stop playing with my name like that. If you're gonna say my name, you say my name correct. It's Brunskill. If you can't say my name correct, then don't say it at all." However, he wishes to tell me that. That's his right as a man, because if he feels like he's being disrespected, if he doesn't like what I say, and it's something that's continuous, he has every right to approach me and tell me not to do that. What I don't understand and what I don't appreciate about what's going on here is no matter how Kinlaw handled it, is the fact that, and I mean, we see it in this world, and I hate to bring up bad things, but all of these mass shootings that are happening all over the world, prayers to all of the families involved in Texas and Buffalo and California, all over. But we're seeing a lack of humanity right now in our world and in this society. And there are a lot of people who just fail to see the humanity in what Javon Kinlaw did. We are all emotional human beings. Where we fall on that emotional spectrum is different for all of us, but we're all emotional human beings, and our emotions get affected by the things that happen to us, by the things that we see, by the things that we hear, by the things that people say about us. So everybody attacking Javon Kinlaw for the way that he reacted, please get off your high horse and miss me with that, because you act like you've never been in that situation. You act like you've never been in a situation where somebody kept antagonizing, somebody kept poking. And it could be something very small, but to you it's big. And that's another thing we have to realize. What's big to me may not be big to you. What's small to me may not be small to you. Again, for everybody is different. So this lack of humanity for not being able to understand why he reacted the way he did, and understand that yes, he's young, yes, he was driven by his emotions, and that's the way he reacted. Like, people act like you can't react that way. You can't come off as brash and as angry and as emotional about somebody talking negatively about you. And to me, it's a lot of like grown men, that's caping too hard for both sides.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of grown men who are on Kinlaw's side, like, oh yeah, that's hood shit, that's street shit. Like, he did what he was supposed to do when a man's talking about you stuff. No, 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 bro. we can understand that, but we can also say there's a better way to go about it. I've heard it a lot on spaces. I've heard it, you say it, other people say it. He's in a position right now where he's got himself out of, the trauma and the difficulty of his past to put himself in a position to make generational wealth for his family, right? You can't jeopardize that. So while we understand the quote unquote street culture and we understand the be a man, act like a man, don't nobody punk you, we understand that. There's also an understanding of there are better ways to handle that. But then there are also other people who are caping too much on Grant's side. Like Grant Cohn is the second coming of Jesus. Like he can't do no wrong. He can't say no wrong. That, it's his platform and he has freedom of speech. And while all of this is true, how you say something, it's not just what you say, it's how you say it. It's the way that it comes off. And sometimes it's the frequency or the quantity at which you say something. So while he's allowed to say what he wants to say, you also got to keep that same energy when somebody want to bring that smoke back to you because they don't like what you said.
Exactly.
Everybody doesn't have to agree with your opinion. And because Javon Kinlaw acted the way that he acted and disagreed with Grant's opinion and his take of him, that don't make Grant right. That don't make how he approached the situation any better. So I need everybody to get to the middle road on this. And there have been a lot of people that said, I don't agree with what Grant did. I don't agree with what Javon Kinlaw did. That's the road we need to be on.
Yeah, you got to stick in the middle.
It could have been handled better on both sides, and we can see where both sides go wrong. Mike from Nothing But Niners, shout out to Mike, our brother. He made a great point in one of the spaces yesterday where, Grant could be playing a little bit of the victim. I don't know what I did. I don't know why he's so upset. I don't know why he's coming at me like this.
Yeah, you can't act like you don't, because you do.
You've been
saying this about this kid for how long?
About all the players, and even if you call it objective, even if you say, listen, I'm just reporting what I see based on the production on the field. This guy was drafted first round, number 13 overall. We traded DeForest Buckner, and this is what we got in return, and he hasn't produced. I get all of that, bro. I get all of that, but it's how. It's how. So if don't play the I don't know why he's acting, because you know why. And you, if you're in this position, you have to be okay with the response.
Especially knowing you're going to be around those players in a physical form.
Right.
If you're the beat writer for a newspaper and you're never going to be around those players, I'm not telling you it's okay to talk reckless. But you have less of a chance of somebody really bringing something to you in the way that Javon brought it to Grant Cohn. And it's just like I said, Jay-Z said it best. I'll show you how to move in a room full of vultures. So I got to show you how to walk through this room and let these people know you the man without doing it incorrectly. And I always liken it. I tell people there's a business way to tell people to fuck off. There really is. You can do it very politely, and you can be very professional. You don't have to use any curse words, but you got to master that. And that's not something that he, he was privy to at the moment. But either way, I'm not going to say that he's wrong for confronting the situation. I would say, hey, come sit down with me, young man. Let me tell you how to really handle that.
Take it a different.
I'm not taking it away from you, Javon. Like, I got to sit down with him and walk through it. I'm not taking it away from you. I just want you to know.
Just take a different approach.
It's a different approach to handling this. I remember real quick, Nipsey Hussle was on Big Boy on YouTube. He was there. He was doing an interview when he was alive. God rest his soul. And they were talking to him about the time he smacked that security guard in the parking lot. And Nipsey stopped him. He was like, let me clarify something. That's not the way that we're supposed to act. I'm wrong. I shouldn't have done that. He goes, sometimes wanted to take it further. That's money out my pocket.
And sometimes, Dion, I'm glad you brought that up. And sometimes, Dion, we got to go through our own storms, bro.
Yeah.
We gotta go through some of these things and see something happen live to then take a step back and be like, that wasn't right.
Yeah. How can I
That
handle
wasn't
that
right.
better?
I've been married 13 years. 13 years me and my wife been together. There have been arguments where I thought I was right. Oh, I got all the facts. I'm
Mm-hmm.
laying out all my points clear and concise. I'm not yelling and I'm not using cuss words. And I still could have handled my response to what we were talking about better. And when I take a step back and when I'm no longer angry, then I can go back and see that. And that I think that's what's frustrating me a lot about the people who are against Kinlaw. And not saying that I gotta come to his defense because he's a grown man, but
Yeah.
he's also 24 years old. I did
He's
a
still
lot of
young.
dumb shit when I was 24.
24. Oh my God.
That was over a decade ago. I did a lot of dumb shit when I was 24. I did a lot of stuff where I didn't have the proper knowledge or guidance when I was 24. And a lot of these I liken it to this, and this is where I'll end it, from my piece. I saw somebody post on Facebook a while back. He said, when I need help fixing a complex issue, I don't ever go to a forum and ask a question. He said, I'll go to a forum and see if somebody else asked the same question. And then in the comments, I'll type in what I know is the wrong answer.
Hmm.
And he said, that's how I'll get my question answered. Because there are more people who are willing to correct me if I provide the wrong answer than if I just ask the question. And we got a lot of people out here that's so quick to jump on somebody and correct them without offering them proper guidance before we get to that point, right?
Yep.
So there's so many people that's breathing down Javon Kinlaw's neck. Oh, you got to do better than that. You got to no. Like you said earlier, he's got to have the right people around him to help guide him, and he's only 24. He's
Yeah.
still learning. He may look like a full grown man because he's 6'6", 320, but he's not a fully grown man yet.
Yeah.
You haven't arrived at the age of 24 yet. And especially sometimes these football players, they haven't had a chance to experience life. Why? Because to get to the NFL, they've been so ingratiated in football. I sleep football. I breathe football. I eat football. When I get up at 4:30 in the morning, 3:30 in the morning, I'm running to keep my body in shape. And then after I run, I come home and eat so I can go to my workout. And then after I work out, I come home and take a little bit of nap and eat again so I can get ready for practice. And then after practice, I come home and get another snack so I can go back to another workout. And then I sleep and do it all over again. They haven't had a chance to live life. They haven't had a chance to really experience the trials and the tribulations, the ups and downs, the challenges of life, because they've been so ingratiated in football. They know the trials and tribulations of football. They know getting benched, getting cut, injuries, somebody taking your job because they playing better than you, not understanding the playbook. They know the ups and downs of football, but sometimes at the age of 24, they haven't had the ups and downs of life yet. So he's 24 years old. Allow him to make his mistakes. Allow him to recover. Allow him to take the opportunity. Right now, he still may be angry. Even if he's going through and saying, you know what? I only did that for the sake of the organization. At 24, I would have said the same shit. I didn't want to squash nothing with you. Squash the beef with you. I still don't like you. And if I catch you saying the wrong thing again, you don't have to worry about me jumping on your YouTube. You won't have to worry about me coming on your channel, because when I catch you in these streets, I won't even care at that point. Because even after this, and I didn't want to squash it, you still got my name in your mouth. So now I know it's disrespect.
Yeah.
Now I know it's disrespect. So he's 24. Allow that man to make his mistakes. Allow that man to learn. Allow that man to be human and feel his emotions, and then he'll grow from it. If he's 32 years old and something like this still happen, if we go 8 years and his knee heals up and he's having a great career or a better career, and then later on down the line they revisit it, whatever, and Grant's still talking trash because now he's 32 and he's declining, whatever, and he do it again, then okay. All right, maybe he didn't learn anything.
Yeah.
But right now, let him go through his growing pains, man. Let him learn, let him grow, let him be human.
A lot of this world, honestly, is guidance. It's guidance, and it's having the people around you to be able to give you that. And if you don't have those people around you, then you have to get them around you. I'm the type of person where I keep my circle small. And I know that if I'm doing something crazy, somebody gonna call me out on it. I have specific homies that will pick the phone up and tell me you look stupid out here. Get it together. You know what I'm saying? I met Mose strictly through through the content creating. But I trusted Mose would tell me, you out there looking reckless, bro. That's not the look. Don't do it.
And also, too, with that, you trust that I'll tell you that, but you also trust that it's coming from a good place.
Exactly.
It's coming from a place of love. It's not coming from a place of hate. It's not coming from a place of jealousy or envy. It's coming from love, because I don't want my brother out here slipping, messing his paper up, messing his channel up, his ability to create content, his ability to monetize off of that content. I don't want my brother out here messing up his bag, and I don't want my brother out here displaying something that's not his true character. So we also have to too be open to that correction, and understand that when it's coming from the right people, that it's coming from a place of love.
Exactly. Yeah, because that's at the end of the day, that's all. That's the only reason that correction is really ever given, because they don't want to see you make the same mistakes. They don't want you to go through the trials and tribulations, or they already know the consequences to your actions, and they're trying to stop you from suffering the same fate that they did at some point in time in life. So it's all about a learning process. But I just wanted to touch on that and get your thoughts. And, that automatically right there, hell, we could have cut that off, turned that into a whole video on walking people through understanding these are young men. That's the point of this. A lot of it, y'all have to, people out there listening, you got to go through those ups and downs, those ebbs and flows in life to help make you into the person that you are. Like, my kids don't experience the things that I went through. They don't know the stuff that I had to deal with. And I made sure of that. So I'm happy with that. I don't want them to go through my negative experiences in life. That's what we all would look for as as parents to our children. Will they go through some kind of experience? Yeah, you ain't gonna get through life unscathed. If you do, you need to tell me your secret, because I want to know. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to Javon. I'm not going to Grant. I'll tell you this. You got confronted on something. Just if this doesn't wake you up to let you know that your mouth can put you in a very precarious situation, I don't know what will. And you got to be real careful, because it's an old saying, your mouth writing checks that your ass can't cash.
I was just about to go there, bro. And we know that saying, man. We know that.
Everybody know that. Don't do it, because when you do it, and I forewarned you. You need to chill, and you didn't listen. So it is what it is. But either way,
if you gonna say what you're gonna say, fine. But you can't control how people react to it.
That's 100% true.
You can't control
if somebody reacts negatively, you're gonna have to deal with them. You said something. I can tell you right now, I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. If I saw Jalen Hurd in real life and he wanted to smoke, he'd have every right to want to smoke.
Like I said, if Brunskill see me and he was like, bro, I'll put your face in the dirt, I'm like, listen, that's how you feel. I mean, I don't believe so. I mean, I'm not in the NFL like you, but I hold my own in these trenches, bro. But like, if he had that gripe, because I call him what I call him sometimes, he got every right. And guess what? I can't be mad at that. I can't be like, why are you mad at me, bro? Why are you mad at me? No, I know why you mad. I know why you mad. And
you upset because you upset because there are things that I feel that you could be better at. Exactly. I've said before, I tell people all the time, it's never nothing personal against the players. My thing is, like with Jalen Hurd, I would tell people all the time, cut him already. Why? He's injury prone. He hasn't played. He's not doing anything. That is the only reason I stated that. If Jalen Hurd would have came out and shitted on the NFL, I'd be saying, when's the next time he's going to make a spectacular catch? What are the things doing? We all want these players to win. We do. And we know the struggle that we don't know the struggle personally, but we see it from an outside perspective. It's hard to get paid in this league. It's hard to last in this league. Injuries happen. Sometimes it puts you Look at what happened to Weston Richburg. He had to retire.
Mm-hmm.
So we aren't saying these things to say, hey, let's take some food out your mouth, take money out your pocket. But we are saying them to say it's our opinion and we have a right to be able to state that. That's just basically what it is. So we're going to go ahead and jump into these defensive linemen. Thank you for touching on that, Mose. That was fantastic, man. Every word you said was speaking the truth and the knowledge to it, man. And, you know, people out there, just remember, when somebody bring it to you like that, you got to be prepared, especially if that door was open by yourself. If you didn't open that door and nothing, if Grant never said nothing about Javon and he walked up and did that, Javon's 100% in the wrong. I never mentioned you. I have never had your name in my mouth. So why are you over here acting like this? But given the situation, it is what it is. But we got some defensive linemen on this squad, and Javon Kinlaw is definitely going to be one of the dudes that we talk about. But we're going to start off with Eric Armstead. He is heading into his 7th year in the league. He's averaging about 4 sacks a year. His best year was 2019 with 10 sacks. Last year he had 6, but he had a great year against the run with DJ Jones at his side. With Jones gone and Kinlaw set to replace him, fully healthy, we will see what the new dynamic is between those two on the interior line. What are your thoughts at this point on Eric Armstead?
I think he's a solid starter. He improved a lot last year when we finally got him back to his natural position. I think he offered us versatility to be able to play outside, but his home is in the middle. I mean, he got drafted high and he got noticed because at Oregon it was him and Buckner in the middle. It was those two 6'7", 6'8" dudes wreaking havoc in the middle. And with his athleticism being that big, his long arms able to extend, keep his offensive lineman's hands off of him, he just does so much more for us in the middle. And I think, you know, as long as we can keep him there and we can stay healthy on the outside and we don't have to move him back outside and keep moving him, I think he's going to have another phenomenal year. I mean, Nick Bosa coming off an ACL injury had 15 and a half sacks. I think he's just going to continue to ascend. You bring in a guy like Drake Jackson on the opposite side of him. Now, you know, we have, you know, bookend pass rushers. And if Kinlaw can stay healthy, which, again, we all hope for, then Armstead is going to have a lot of one-on-one matchups. And it's a lot of centers and a lot of guards in this league who can't do anything with him. So he could have another really, really phenomenal year. And I'm looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward to it as well. I honestly feel the minute we get Kinlaw out there, man, training camp is going to tell me a lot. It's going to tell me where he's at because I'm assuming that's where they have him slated to go. They're not going to push him in OTAs because it's just OTAs. But in training camp, that's going to tell me where Kinlaw is at because I already know that Chris Kasarik is the best defensive line coach in the game, period. There's nothing, you know, there's nobody about that. What up, Callie? Callie in the house. What's good with you, Callie? Brother. But I can tell you this, for me, I expect him to have a big year. Because while I was not very happy with the Drake Jackson pick initially, because I didn't want us drafting another edge rusher with our first pick in the draft. It drives me insane. I don't know why. It's just me. I know a lot of people were like, oh, my God, yes. And I'm like, another defensive lineman. What a coincidence. But with that being said, I expect Eric Armstead to ball out. And, I mean, 6'7", and his wingspan is ridiculous. So being somebody that big with those big, long arms, it makes life easier to be able to get to the quarterback. And if you got the proper people coming off the edge creating the right pressure, then that quarterback has nowhere to go but up that middle into the waiting arms of either Kinlaw and or Armstead. And it's going to be an ugly situation. I'm telling you right now, Kinlaw about to take all that aggression out on every defensive guard. Every guard and center in the league should be afraid. If that young man is fully healthy and he's ready to go, and they've got him revved up properly, be afraid. Be afraid. Because his bull rush is disgusting. Tell you that much. But Eric Armstead, I expect him to go up to at least another 8 to 10 sacks.
Yeah,
I expect him to jump back into there, right in that range. And I expect him. And my thing is, I really want Kinlaw to have thought of DJ as a big brother and go ahead and do what DJ did. Because Armstead and DJ in the middle, you want to run it.
Mm-hmm.
There was no run game against the 49ers. Not up that gut anyway. Don't go up that gut. You can forget it. They was going to stop you. So hopefully Kinlaw can be that person. But we got Eric Armstead. He's good. Next guy we have is Alex Barrett. Only 2 years in the league. No sacks. Just 9 games of experience. Promising defensive lineman nonetheless. Great rotational piece on the defensive line who can create pressure that can help turn into sacks for himself or eventually someone else. We got to give a big shout out. Was it Alex? No, it wasn't Alex Barrett. That was somebody else who blocked that field goal in Green Bay. Jordan Willis.
No, that was Jordan Willis.
Yeah, but what do you think of Mr. Barrett here? Because I like that he creates the pressure, but I need him to start getting home.
I honestly think it's going to be tough for him to make this team. Mm-hmm. We got Armstead, we got Kinlaw. We know those are givens. We got Kevin Givens, no pun intended. We brought over Hassan Ridgeway. We got Mo Hurst. That's 5. And then if you think of the D-line group as a whole, including our ends, we may only keep 5, maybe 6 defensive tackles. So I think Alex Barrett may be on the outside looking in.
Okay, that's definitely true words and never been spoken. When it comes to Alex Barrett, those facts right there are very spot on. I definitely know I don't see him making the squad only because of all of the talent that we have in front of him, and at the same time, there wasn't there wasn't that production that would have earned him a spot along with him playing well. So, completely understand. Mr. Barrett is on the outside looking in. He's on the bubble, as they say. Yep. Here we go with the dude that everybody loves, Nick Bosa. Entering his 4th year in the league, he was a monster out of the gate in 2019 with 9 sacks, helped us on the run to the Super Bowl. 2nd year, only played 2 games toward his ACL in that horrible game at MetLife, which is one of the worst fields in the world. 3rd year, he came back, helped us out, got to the NFC Championship game with a career-high 15.5 sacks coming off an ACL tear, provided he's healthy all year in the coming season, along with the addition of Drake Jackson in the draft. To go opposite him, he could have an even more explosive year than the last. What do you see? What do you foresee, should I say, from Nick Bosa this year?
I don't want to go too far out there, but I think with this one I will. And it's kind of hard to read Nick Bosa sometimes, just because he's like very even keel,
so mellow.
It's just all the time.
He talks and then he does this.
Yeah. Yep.
That's Nick.
I'm sure there are things that fire him up. And I'm sure he understood why he didn't win Defensive Player of the Year, because TJ Watt tied the sack record.
Yeah.
But I think he wanted Comeback Player of the Year. And I know he doesn't care about that as much as he cares about winning championships. But I think he wanted Comeback Player of the Year because
he deserved it.
He went out week 2, right? But of course, it goes to the quarterback. It goes to Joe Burrow, who also tore his ACL, blah, 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 whatever. I think Nick Bosa, if he has a fire lit under him because of the way last season ended and what he's trying to accomplish, I think Nick Bosa is going for Defensive Player of the Year, and I think he's going to try to break the sack record.
I love it. I love all of that, and I want him to break that sack record. That's what I foresee.
If he can get 23, 24 sacks, bro, and break that sack record, that lets you know that our defense is probably a top 3 defense all year. If he can get 24 sacks, I mean, sometimes too, that could mean that. No, that could mean that we up and the other team got to pass a lot. So yeah, I mean, if he can get 24 sacks, that means we're winning a lot of games. The other team has to pass more than they have to run. But I think another year removed from the ACL injury, another year going up against Trent Williams, another year in this scheme, another year with Chris Kosaric. If Kinlaw can stay healthy and help Eric Armstead in that middle, and if Drake Jackson can slowly build up to be an effective Robin to his Batman, bro, I think that he's going for the sack record, and he's coming for that defensive player of the year trophy.
I completely agree, man. I foresee Nick Bosa having a really big year. I was pegging him at least 20 sacks at a minimum. And hopefully these referees start getting these holding calls correct. Because there are one too many times I've seen Nick Bosa literally get it put in the headlock, or he's doing this as he's running forward. If I'm doing this and my arms are back behind me, there's no reason that a flag shouldn't be thrown. You should be able to see it. Now, because he comes from a lineage of football players, they have taught him not to express his disdain for the fact that the refs can't throw the flag, because they understand what comes with that. And for me, I don't want them to keep doing that to him. I really want them to start understanding, the man is beating people and getting held while doing it. Pay attention. You can call a holding call for the offensive line, on any other down. Why is it that when Nick Bosa is out there, y'all just seem to miss the call? I can guarantee you we could go back. How many screenshots we can have moles of him just being held? Man, please, we be over here like, that was a flag, that was a flag.
Bro, listen, we could, and this is not an exaggeration. No. Just going back to last season, we can literally do at minimum 4 a game, because he gets 1 a quarter. Yeah. He gets 1 a quarter. Yeah. At minimum, we can give you 4 shots from the first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter, 1 from each quarter. We can give you 4 screenshots from every game of him getting held. And I mean, even if they establish it in the preseason, establish it in the first couple games. If all of y'all on the left and the right side are trying to do this to Nick Bosa, we're going to call holding on you, because all y'all doing the same thing. We're going to call holding. Make it a precedent that he's going to get those calls. That's going to force teams to stop holding him, and that's going to force teams to double team. And that's what we want. Because if you're focusing your attention on Nick Bosa, that means Armstead might have a one-on-one. Kinlaw's going to have a one-on-one. Drake Jackson's going to have a one-on-one. Ebukam's going to have a one-on-one. Kerry Hyder, Jordan Willis, Charles Omenihu, all these dudes going to have one-on-ones. Mm-hmm. And at that point, we need those other guys to win those one-on-ones. Because when they start winning their one-on-ones, then the offensive coordinator and the offensive line coach, they got to go back to the drawing board. Okay, now we can't focus this much attention on Bosa because everybody else is killing us. We need to find a universal solution. And finding a universal solution means now Nick can eat again. Now he can hunt again because he's not getting double and triple team. So, I mean, as we got the pieces in place. As long as everything unfolds like that, man, this defensive line is going to be really, really scary.
And the scary part about that is if they're putting that kind of pressure on the quarterback, then defensive backs have it so easy. It makes your life that much better. Let me tell you something, people, and I'm not going to veer off into this too far, but can you imagine Charvarius Ward and Jason Verrett being the starters? Both of them who like to go after the ball. They ball hog. That's what they like to do. Jason Verrett, when healthy, is a top 5 corner in the league, period. I've been said that. I said that ever since he came out of TCU. I wanted us to draft him. And I got a call from a homie of mine who laughed in my face because he was a Charger and they drafted him. And he was like, I know you wanted Jason Verrett, but I just called you to gloat. I was like, shut up and get off my phone. That's my brother. I love you to death.
Why the Chargers always taking our corners? They took Jason Verrett from us. They took
Asante.
Bruh.
They always
taking our corners.
But either way, if the D line is right, it makes everything else that much better. Nick Bosa is set to explode. and I'm 100% on board with that. So the next guy we're going to slide to is Samson Ebukam. Picked from the Rams last year, had a good year, came on strong late. He was a linebacker. We converted him to defensive line. He had 4.5 sacks last year. Some consistent pressures along the way. This is the last year of his 2-year deal, and we hope he continues to contribute. What are your thoughts on Samson Ebukam?
I do need to see a little bit more, but I think we will see a little bit more with his second year in the system. I think the first year he was just trying to, find his way and find where he fits and what his role is. And as long as he understands his role, what I love about Ebukam is his motor. His motor doesn't seem to turn off. Like, he's nonstop. When he's on the field, he's after it. His heart is in the right place. His mind is in the right place. So I think it's for me with Ebukam, it's just a lot of the technical details. And as Nick Bosa will tell you, as everybody on our defensive line will tell you, it's about finishing, right? So I love his energy. I love his motor. I think he'll be more improved in the system this year. I think we have a better rotation of pass rushers also, so that's going to help him as well. And if he could just focus on finishing, I think he can have a solid season in this rotation.
I completely agree with you. That's the whole point of it for him. There were lots of times where he was just as close to the quarterback as I am to you on this screen. That is 100% true. So if he gets to finish, oh man, Ebukam gonna turn that 4.5 into about 8.5. And my thing is, I would love to see our team lead the league in sacks.
Bro, why are you in my mind right now?
That's what we doing.
I was thinking the same thing. Like, yo, that would be my goal for us as a defense, to lead the league in sacks. And I think we can do it.
And we have the pieces. Believe me, because there's more people to talk about. But I can say this: we lead the league in sacks. That just means we headed right back to where we was last year. All we got to do is finish. So I don't foresee a negative thing. And quick shout out to Trey Lance. Love how he handled his press conference. For that kid to be that young, he is up here. For all the people to try to doubt what's in his head, you need to stop. Trey Lance is beyond you. Trey Lance is way smarter than you think. Trey Lance was raised in something that we don't all get to enjoy, which is a 2-parent home. His father was around. His father was consistent. His daddy taught him a lot. So for all you people out there trying to talk about, well, we're not sure if he's grasping the playbook, all this other stuff, stop it. That young man is going to ball. And when he does, we will be laughing in your face. I will gladly laugh, cackle, cry, shriek, and do it all. But
his dad was an athlete.
Yeah. Like his dad was telling me, I love the approach, because I watched the thing that he had before he drafted him. Is basically his dad was like, yo, you got to have a motivation for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I can't be getting up in the morning, coming in here, bugging you, kicking you, waking you up, doing all. You need to be able to get up on your own. If I tell you, hey, 4 o'clock in the morning, we need to be up, heading out the door to get the train. You need to be up 3:15, getting ready.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? Like these are the things that you have to ingratiate into your children, and that's what his dad did for him. And his dad been there, every step of the way. And I respect exactly how he's working, man. But it's gonna be a beautiful thing. Now, on to the guy that I really don't care for. Mr. D Ford.
Oh yeah.
D Ford. Oh, well, I'm gonna say this. This is my opinion. A waste of a signing. His best year with us was in 2019. He was even off and on in that season. Unfortunately, he was injured the rest of the time he's been with us, and has given us no production since. Rumors are we finally cut him post June 1st to save some money. Unfortunately, it doesn't help the cap space much due to his injury guarantee. But at least he's gone, not wasting our time. It'd be nice if he retired and allowed us to recoup that money, but it won't happen. For me, my opinion, goodbye and good riddance. I am done with D Ford, and it's only because he can't get back on the field. D Ford, if you ever see this is nothing against you personally, nothing against you as a man. And I know that injuries happen, and we can't prevent that. But if you know that you just can't play no more, I'd appreciate it if you did us a solid and helped us out with this cap space. But then again, I can't fault you for going and keeping on, holding on to your bread, man. Because if they cut him, they still got to pay him these next 2 years because they already reworked his contract. We can't do it again. What are your thoughts on D Ford and hopefully him walking away and us not having to deal with that?
Yeah, man. I'm not gonna put too much sauce on it. I'm right where you are. The D Ford experiment has come, and I think the D Ford experiment is over. Appreciate his time while he's here, but um, I at this point, if you just look at it from the team perspective, we not riding on hope anymore. Like we
No.
have the pieces. We were just in a Super Bowl. If it wasn't for an injury played COVID ridden 2020, we probably would have been back in the playoffs again. We were in the NFC Championship last year. Like the window to win a Super Bowl is not a big window, and
Yeah.
we're not a team that are going into week and week on a hope and prayer. And I'm not hoping and praying anymore that D4 come back. Like I can't stake, my feelings about where this team is and where this defense is and where this defensive line is going to be on D4 coming back. So listen, if he doesn't do us a solid and he gets his money, listen, congratulations, you got your money.
Yep.
you know, I wish you well in your future endeavors. But right now, number 55 need to go back into the available jersey pool, and we need that roster spot available to find some of these young guys who are healthy, available bodies to allow us to have a, even that much stronger pass rush rotation. I'd rather have a guy who may only give me 2 or 3 sacks on the season, but can play 10 to 15, 20 snaps a game in a rotation if we need him to, than a guy who we hoping and praying plays, find out that he's not able to play, or he only comes back for week 1 or week 2, tweaks his back again, and you never see him. You don't see him on the
Mm-hmm.
sidelines. You don't see him in practice. He don't do no interviews. You never see him again. So if we ain't going to see him anyway, I don't care if we don't save money or if we only save pennies on the dollar.
Yeah, just let him go.
Let him go, man. Let him
Yeah, and
go.
I think they held on to him a lot longer than they needed to.
Yep.
And to be honest with you, I'll say this: I feel like that's Lynch. I feel like Lynch has a soft spot for the players in his heart because he understands being injured and he understands these things. And we as people understand it too. But as a fan, what I'm not going to understand is you continually getting paid and you have not been on the field
And
producing.
I'm not getting nothing.
I ain't getting nothing. Like nothing,
Nothing
not a
from
dollar.
you.
I need a little something out of you, D. Just, you got to give me something, baby. But we can definitely move on. Kevin Givens, been with us for 3 years, only has 1 sack, consistent at creating pressure, a solid rotational piece on the D line. What do you think about Kevin Givens?
Yeah, man. I do want him to take that next step. But if he doesn't and just continues to play the way he's playing now, I mean, again, there's a role for everybody. That's why there's 53 players that make up a roster at the end of the day, maybe a little bit more with the new roster rules. But um, if he just continues to play the way that he's playing, that's absolutely fine because, like you said, he is consistently getting pressure, and every once in a while he makes a wow play. So as somebody in that tier 2, tier 3 portion of the depth chart, but somebody we know we can count on in that
Mm-hmm.
rotation when we're giving Eric Armstead a blow or giving Javon Kinlaw a blow, we know we can go to Kevin Givens and there will be little to no drop off when he's in the game. I think he's a vital part of the rotation, but I do want to see him take that next step because if he can take that next step and say, listen, I'm a good rotational piece, but you got to get me in a rotation more because I'm out
Mm-hmm.
here, I'm killing them. I'm killing them. And I know we got Eric Armstead. We paying him a lot of money. I know we got Javon Kinlaw. He was a first-round pick, but y'all can't keep me off the field. So
Yeah.
I kind of do want to see him take that next step, and I think he's capable. But even if he doesn't, he's still going to be a vital part of this defensive line rotation.
Yeah. I completely concur with everything you just said. I want him to be out there forcing any and everybody off the field. And that's what you want to see from your defensive players in general. Put me in a situation where I have to find a way to get you out there. Look at what happened with Talanoa Hufanga last year. People were looking like, oh, man, this kid's just a fifth-round pick, yada, yada. And next thing you know, he forced his way onto the field with the time. Of course, we had, Tart injured for a little bit. But at the same time, they were saying, you know what, we got to get this kid on the field. He's too dynamic. We can't keep him off of it. So the next guy, this guy, unfortunately, Mo Hurst. Injured all of last year, was supposed to be a solid rotational player on the D-line and a definite run stuffer. We're hoping he's healthy and ready to go and can actually contribute this season. What are your expectations for Mr. Hurst?
Unfortunately, I don't have any expectations from him because I think his career so far with us has been similar to what his career has been with the Raiders. So I don't even have a full grasp of what he's capable of, and I don't want to go all the way back and look at his Michigan film. So as of right now, I don't have any expectations, and I'm not going to be overly judgmental or critical of him to this point because I haven't seen what he's able to do. So my hope is that he's able to stay healthy so we can get some good film on tape and see where he is and see how he fits into this defensive line. But I think if that isn't the case and he can't prove to stay healthy this year, I think this is one of the ones where, okay, we got him on a very team friendly deal. The first year was a little rocky. We'll see what happens the second year. Unfortunately, if it doesn't pan out after this year, I think we have to move on and find some other rotational depth on that defensive line. So I won't pass judgment yet. I want to see if he can stay healthy and where he fits in.
I like it. I like all of it, man. I completely agree. I just want him to stay healthy so we can see exactly what he's going to bring. Because we just unfortunately don't know. You're not on the field enough for us to be able to get a barometer that tells us whether you should stay or whether you should go. So completely agree with that one. The next guy on our list, we brought him back, Mr. Kerry Hyder. After a wasted year with the Seahawks, he's back and ready to go. When he was with us in 2020, he led the team in sacks with that COVID-ravaged year that we had. He had 8.5 sacks, 10 TFLs. He had the best time playing under Coach Cassert, and we hope that magic has an effect on him once more. What are your expectations for Mr. Hyder?
I think, he went and got the big payday. I'm never gonna, get on anybody for going out and getting their money. But I think he realizes that his home is wherever Chris Kocurek is, wherever this guy is, and wherever his scheme is. That's where my home is. I made my name in Detroit under this guy. I came to the 49ers and had similar success under this guy. I went somewhere else and they was like, why did we pay you this much money? So I think he knows where his home is. And there are some guys who can go anywhere and they can just play because that's who they are. And then there are other guys who they are great fits in only certain schemes. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I think when you have such a large league, or if you got 50 plus guys on 32 different teams, you have roles. And I think it's okay if he understands that my role is this particular thing that I'm doing under this coach and under his scheme. And that's where I'm the most successful. So I'm expecting him to mimic some of his production from 2020. Now, granted, a lot of that production did come because Nick Bosa was out. Hopefully, with Nick Bosa being here, we may not see as much production from him. Hopefully, with the ascension of Drake Jackson, we may not see as much production from him. But I think as far as his effectiveness on the edge, being able to set the edge and being able to rush their passer and generate pressures and hits on the quarterback, I expect to see a Kerry Hyder a similar Kerry Hyder to what we saw in 2020.
I completely agree with you, man. I think the Kerry is going to have a really good year. And to think about it, have Bosa back, have that line where it is, and be there with all the guys healthy. He did 8.5 sacks without a bunch of help. So if he did that without a bunch of help, then that tells me even if he's a rotational guy, we should be able to get a good 5 to 8 out of him in general because he's going to be ready. He'll be there. So yeah. I expect Kerry Hyder
if he
to do
can.
some things.
If he can still get 8 with Nick Bosa on that line and Drake Jackson on that line, that's more than enough. If he can still get 8, if he can still get home and get 8, bro. Yeah, if Kerry Hyder gets 8 sacks, I think it's more likely that we lead the league in sacks.
Yeah. And that's just and that right there just is based off of the scheme and what we all know to be true. I think it's going to work out well. Now we are on to the man who we were talking about when we first started the show, Javon Kinlaw. After a subpar rookie year that saw him play 14 games, and he was the replacement for DeForest Buckner after the Colts, the trade with the Colts, should I say. He did have issues with his knee and cleaned it up several times, but finally got it right. He states he feels as healthy as ever and he's ready to go. Rookie year, he had an interception that he took back for a touchdown, 4 passes defense, 1.5 sacks. His second year, he didn't play much, and we're hoping a healthy Kinlaw can provide some starting firepower to the defensive line. My thought process on Javon is if he's healthy, he is going to be a monster, and he's going to live in the backfield on top of your quarterback because he sacked him. And or he's going to be taking your running back and carrying him down all the way back down to the other end zone because he is a barbarian, as he so eloquently called himself. What are your thoughts on Mr. Kinlaw?
Liz, I'm rooting for the kid. I'm rooting for the kid in this Grant Cohn situation. I'm rooting for the kid for our team. I'm rooting for him just from the standpoint that I'm biased with defensive tackles. Like, listen, if we didn't take him 13, somebody was taking him 13 or in the top 20. Like, he was going, top 15, top 20 type of guy because the book on him was he's so aggressive. He's so strong at the point of attack. You can't move him. You can't block him with one guy. He's explosive. Like, that was they said he was a grown man with a little boy's face. Like, he 20 years old in this huge big person's body, right? He got that country strength. They called him country strong.
Oh yeah.
So listen, our run defense was optimal when he was in the lineup. Now, I'm glad he's healthy and he feels the healthiest he's ever been. We got to see how that knee holds up when you're actually going up against another 300-pound man, and you got to move another 300-pound man, and they got 2 guys on you, and we got to hope that these teams, knock on wood, we got to hope that these teams play straight up and don't nobody go low and try to cut him at his knee. You know what I'm saying? Like, because it's some dirty motherfuckers out here. So, but again, if he can stay healthy, this defensive line is going to look a lot different just because of his size, the force that he is in the middle. And I think what do they say? Quickest point from A to B is a straight line. So
exactly.
While teams may be trying to double team Nick Bosa, they're going to have to find a way to keep a guard with that center if Kinlaw is in the middle. Because like I said, a lot of these dudes, he's just moving them out the way and making them look silly. So I really do hope he can stay healthy and prove that he's the barbarian. Just start throwing dudes around with just one hand. Just move dudes out the way, throw them to the ground, make them look like little boys, and get to the quarterback for us. So I really do hope he can stay healthy because he is a monster when he's in there.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you right now, that's what I'm praying for. I'm praying for his health, and Deion said it best. You look good, you look good, you play good, they pay good. That's what's gonna happen. So for me, as long as Kinlaw stay healthy, he can definitely go ahead and wreck the league. And believe me, that's why I stated earlier, Guards and centers, good luck. Good luck. Because if that man is healthy and that knee is perfect, you ain't going to have no chance. We're going to move on to Charles Omenihu. Acquired in the trade with the Texans, he provided some good pressure off the edge. This was his first year in the system with Chris Kaserik. So we hope this year those pressures turn into sacks. Now, last year, Charles Omenihu, he openly admitted in the little bit of time that he had in his interviews, basically that he was still learning, and he feels that as he continues to grow and progress in the system, it's only going to get better for him. I hope that it does. I feel like it will, and I feel like Omenihu could give us at least a good, probably I want to say about 3 to 5 sacks, and at the same time create some pressure as a rotational depth piece is what I foresee for him. I don't see him as a starter. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I agree. I don't think he's a starter. I think he's in that same mold with a Samson Ebukam. He's in that same tier as Samson, same tier as Jordan Willis. I'm sure we'll get to him in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Even if Kamiko Ture makes his team, I think those four guys are kind of in the same boat. Obviously, uh, Samson may have a bit of an edge just because of his motor, his explosiveness, as I mentioned earlier. But I think those dudes are in that same tier. They're in that tier two, tier three tier of our pass rushing group. And that's okay because we need those guys. We need that rotation to keep, all of the guys fresh. So yeah, if he can give us 3 to 5, that's solid for me. Provide pressure, provide, our starters, some room to, come to the sideline, catch a breath real quick, get their legs back underneath them. So yeah, 3 to 5 is a perfect number for Ominahu.
There it is. That's exactly what we were hoping for. So the next guy on our list is going to be Hassan Ridgeway. Comes over to us from Philly in free agency with not much experience. He's only played 12 games over his 6 years in the league. Assuming he's a depth piece, another guy that some people may like due to pressure he creates. My issue is the lack of PT. All that time in the league and only 12 games. I'm honestly not sure if he's worth it. I don't know much about him. So help me out, Mose. Help me feel a little better about Mr. Ridgeway, because when I saw that he's only really played about 12 games, that's alarming to me. I know that everybody thinks that Kaserik is a wizard with the defensive line, but 12 games out of 6 years, and you never cracked the starting lineup, it's questionable.
Yeah, it's very questionable. So I wonder where he is as far as his health. Um, I'm not. I got to do a little bit more research. I'm not exactly sure all of his injuries. But he had some lower leg stuff, I believe. I think he might have had a concussion or two. I'm not 100% sure about that, but injuries definitely are it. And then also, when you're not injured, were you making an impact on the defensive line for you to get playing time? Unfortunately, he was in Philadelphia behind um, Fletcher Cox.
Mm-hmm.
And they had a bunch of other guys there that were playing really, really well on that defensive line. So obviously it's tough to crack that rotation. So when you look at here, if we got a healthy Kinlaw, if our Eric Armstead is playing well, if we got Kevin Givens as our number 3 behind those two guys, is he going to be able to crack that lineup? So I don't foresee him trying to crack that top 3. But if we need somebody to come in on a rotational basis, I think between him and Maurice Hurst, as our fourth and fifth defensive tackles, if we need them, I think he can come in and give us some valuable snaps. You don't want to see him. I don't think you want to see Ridgeway at this point, taking any more than 10 snaps a game. He should be used, very sparingly, either to give someone a blow. If a team is taking us on a crazy defensive drive that's 10, 12, 15 plays, and we need to get Ridgeway out there for 2 or 3 plays just to get, Givens or Kinlaw a breath, then cool. But he should, again, that's why you need a rotation. Give those guys a breather, let them come back in the game. So I don't foresee a lot from him. It'll be his first year under Chris Kosaric. But listen, if there's anybody who can get something out of him, it's Chris Kosaric. So again, don't want to pass the judgment too much because it'll be his first year in the system. I want to see, what he's able to provide and how he fits with the pieces that we already have before I make that judgment. But I'm not excuse me, I'm not banking on him having a valuable role within this rotation.
I completely agree with that. I understand. I don't know much about him, but we'll see what happens. We're basically got to leave him as a question mark to this point. So we got Chris Slayton comes on as a UDFA, competing for a spot. Personally, I think we'll see how camp goes for him. I'm not really don't know much about Mr. Slayton. You have any thoughts on him?
Nah, anybody who hasn't been on this team already or taken with a high draft pick, I really think it's going to be hard
To
for
even get
them
in.
to crack this rotation. I mean, we got so many guys. I mean, if a guy like Alex Barrett might not make it, like
Yeah, Chris
you
Slayton
know,
definitely doesn't have a
somebody like
chance. He
Slayton,
sells something crazy.
he's gonna have to show something crazy, and even then, we'll probably stash him on the practice squad or something like that. But yeah, I'm interested to see what he does. UDFA young guy coming in, see how he picks up the system again. Chris Koseric's system has known to just be, a unicorn in defensive land world because guys just come get under his training and his tutelage and they just blossom.
Yeah,
A no name guy can come in and you're like, whoa, who was that? How did we miss him? Well, Kosaric didn't miss him, and that's why he's here. So I'm interested to see, what he's able to do and, if he makes enough noise to make the practice squad.
good. Completely agree. Kamiko Ture or Kamoko Ture came over from Indy, another depth piece for the D line. Um, I'm not really sure, man. This is another guy I got a little question mark about because I didn't really see a lot from him, and the name doesn't necessarily ring a bell. What can you tell me about Mr. Ture?
I mean, what I can tell you about Teray is he's another one of those guys. He's high motor, high energy.
Okay.
When you watch Indianapolis Colts games, you hear his name mentioned. It's not every play, it's not every game, but a lot of times you hear his name or you see his name pop up because he's doing something. He's Indianapolis for the past couple of years have had a really, really solid defense led by that defensive line. And Kamiko Correa has been a part of that, from the standpoint of being a rotational pass rusher, right? So I
Yes.
think he knows and he understands his role. And while he might want to come in and really try to make a name for himself now, I think if he comes in, just as hungry as he's always been and understanding his role as a rotational pass rusher on this team, I think he can have the same, if not, a little bit better of an impact than he had with Indianapolis. I do know this. He does know how to rush the passer.
Okay.
And he has, he's a high motor, high energy guy. Um, so when we see him play on the field, we won't have an issue from that standpoint. We won't say, oh, he's dogging it. Oh, he's, not playing hard. He plays hard every snap from what I remember when he was in Indianapolis, and he was in Indianapolis for a few years. So I think again, he's in that Jordan Willis, Charles Omenihu, Samson Ebukam tier. But I mean, listen, if we can get those four guys, Omenihu, Ebukam, Jordan Willis, and who else did I say just now?
Ture.
Kamiko Teray. If we can get those four guys to give us 3 to 5 sacks each,
That's easy money. That's all we need.
I mean, listen, if the four of them give us 3 each, that's 12. If they give us 5 each, that's 20.
Yeah. That's perfect production from guys that are rotational on your line. That's all you want. You really just want them to get there. And a lot of the times with rotational pieces, it's just literally to spell your starters. So the next guy on the list is Jordan Willis. We got to show much love to Jordan Willis for basically helping us win the game against the Packers. Because without Jordan Willis, we wouldn't have even gotten anywhere near the NFC Championship. We literally had a game where number 10, because I'm not going to call him by his name. He don't deserve my respect. Number 10 was as inept as he possibly could. Number 12 was also inept, which was definitely very confusing because that's his element. So I have no idea how that didn't work out. But Willis blocked that field goal. Hufanga picked it up. We got the TD. Went down. Robbie Gold kicked the field goal. Game winner ran. What are your thoughts on Jordan Willis? I like him. I think he's going to create a lot of pressure, and hopefully he gets better. His stance, to me, actually, I like. He's got both hands in the dirt, and he looked like a track star that's muscle bound, that's about to run a 100-meter dash right up your right tackle's gut.
If there's no other reason that he makes this team other than that blocked field goal from last year, I'll be okay with it. I'll
Right?
be okay with it. If they be like, listen, he really shouldn't have made the team, but because he blocked that field goal for us last year, he made the team. I've been like, you know what? Cool.
Yep.
But I think Jordan Willis can be interesting because I'm looking at him. He's only 27 years old. He's 6'4", 270. And I think because of his stature, right? Yes, he's an edge rusher, but I think we might see him also utilized on the inside.
Mm,
Even if Kinlaw is healthy.
okay.
Even if Kinlaw is healthy, we might see something where we see, Armstead and Kinlaw are off the field, and we got, you know, uh Bosa and Drake Jackson and Jordan Willis and Ebukam or Amenahu. And because Amenahu also, I think he's a little bit more lean than Jordan Willis is, but
Mm-hmm.
Amenahu also played a little bit inside, and he's actually bigger. He's 280,
Yeah.
and Willis is showing up as 270. So if you want to go full NASCAR and just have all edge rushers out there, I could see us doing something like Drake Jackson, Nick Bosa, Charles Amenahu, Jordan Willis. with Amenahu and Willis on the inside
Could
because
you
they have
imagine?
enough they have enough power to play on the inside, but then they also have the speed too.
Could you
So
imagine a call like seeing Kasarik over there with those guys in, and all you hear him yelling is "all gas, all gas." And
crazy,
all they do, every last one of them would bull rush the line. I'm telling you right now, that line is on its back.
crazy. So
Somebody getting stepped on accidentally. There's movement. Like, just, I mean, of course, this is all a hypothetical, and he probably would never have something like that. But, I mean, if you have Chris Kasarik out there, because, he ain't never got no voice. He always yelling. But, I mean, like, that'd be a smooth little move. Yeah,
right,
all
so
the gas, next thing you know, they all just bull rush. Ooh, ooh.
or even if not, even if they don't, because it's a mismatch on the inside with some of these slower guards.
Mhm.
If you put edge rushers like Omenahu and Willis in the middle, like I said, call NASCAR, and then they all speed rush from every angle trying to get after the quarterback. Listen, so I do see where, and we love to talk about this team and Kyle Shanahan loving versatile players, right? So
Mhm.
I think Jordan Willis makes this team because he's humble. We've heard he's humble, he's quiet, he doesn't say much, but he shows up, he's bought in. He gives maximum effort every single day. So not only does he play well for us in our system, but he fits the culture.
Yeah.
He fits the culture. So yeah, I think Jordan Willis makes this team another year in the system. And I think, listen, all our guys healthy, we can be really, really productive. So I don't see anything less from him.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So we got the man that we drafted, Drake Jackson, our first pick this year in round 2 of the draft. He is set to be the man opposite Nick Bosa to help crash the edge and create sacks and pressures. Out of USC, it was said they used him incorrectly, and Kasarik can turn him into a monster. SC supposedly had him at a lower weight, and they were trying to use him as an outside linebacker. But what's being said is that his natural position is defensive end, rushing the quarterback. He's actually been compared to one guy that we talked about not but a few moments ago, D Ford. They say his bend and his flex is insane. I honestly, as I stated, I didn't like the pick at first. Then I watched some film. And it's hard for me. I'm a UCLA fan. You know how hard it is to like anybody from USC? It's just that this is like breezy liking anybody from Ohio State.
Yeah.
He may be objective, but it is hard of hearts. He doesn't really like him, you know? So for me, I watched the film. I like this kid. I like his bend. I like his flex. I like his speed. I like all of it. I see him coming in and blowing off that line. And I'm going to tell you right now, I don't want to say this because I would love him to improve. I really would. Mike McGlinchey, good luck, brother. Mike McGlinchey is a great run blocker.
Uh-oh. I think we lost Dion. Anybody still in the chat with me? I think we lost him. Hold on. Is he back?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got
or
you
did
now.
I cut out?
You cut out for a second, but you back now.
No. I'm trying to get. I was saying, what are your thoughts? Stopped. Now I feel like no, you there? You're good. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but like, on your screen,
It's
like
choppy.
It's choppy, and like your mouth is not caught up to what you're saying. So I don't know where you at.
Okay, go ahead and talk to us about Drake Jackson. Let's see what Drake Jackson. Let me see what I can do.
Man, and in my draft preparation and in my draft for that I've done for all 32 teams, Drake Jackson was one of the names that I saw when the film came on that I was like, man, this guy is going to be special. And it was hard because I did say that about a lot of guys because I feel like this was one of the deeper class of pass rushers this year. And there would have been a few guys that I would have been okay if we would have landed. But and you know, call me a homer for being a Niners fan and you know, making comparisons because of the jersey number. But if you actually look at how he played a little bit, you know, when he was standing up and when he was playing outside linebacker at USC, he kind of reminded me a little bit of Aldon Smith. Like he had that same speed to power ratio that Aldon Smith had. But I think he also is a little bit more polished as a pass rusher. And he's a little bit more athletic. Alden was athletic, but sometimes he ran a little bit weird. Sometimes he ran a little bit upright. I think Drake Jackson to me is more of a fluid athlete. And it shows up on film. So the fact that he was excited to be drafted by the 49ers and staying on the West Coast, the fact that he was like, bro, I'm going to be in a defensive line room with Nick Bosa, bro. I just hope he's excited to meet me as I am him. I'm going to ask him a ton of questions. I feel like Drake Jackson is going to be a gnat. Like he's going to be that fly at the barbecue that's hovering around the potato chips and the hot dogs and hamburgers and won't leave your table alone. Like he's going to be like, bro, how do you do this? How do you do that? Like, you know, what should I do here? What should I do here? Like, how do you do this move? Like he wants to be a sponge and soak all of that up. And I love that because that shows drive, that shows hunger, that shows like at some point when he gets that knowledge, he's going to be competing. Like it's a race. Am I going to get to the quarterback or is Nick going to get to the quarterback? And I love Nick as my teammate, but he's not going to beat me to this guy. And if they have that mindset where they racing now and they're competing to get to the quarterback first, that's scary. The quarterbacks need to watch out. So I'm excited for the young guy. I'm excited for what he's able to bring. And I just want to see him play.
Yeah. I'm trying to make sure I'm trying to take this little one out. There we go. Stop.
No, it's still echoing.
Still echoing. Turn mic off. There we go. It's still echoing. Why? Muted this mic. Hold on. Hold on, let me drop it.
All right, Dion getting his audio issues figured out. Nope, it's still echoing. You're going back to the other one. You muted right now, bro.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah, that's good now.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what was going on, man. I had to try to drop out and drop back in and then go out and do that. So let me drop out of this one here. Hold up. Boom. Okay, we good. We're good. So back to the list here. We got Kevin Atkins, UDFA out of Fresno State, competing for a roster spot. Now, Mr. Atkins, I have his stats and whatnot up. When it comes to his play, Kevin Atkins he left Fresno State with looks like 16 and a half sacks. Now, last year he had 7 sacks, which is pretty darn good. That ain't half bad. Basically, looks like his first year, 2018, he had 1. 2019, he had 4. 2020, he had 4.5. And then in 2021, he had 7 sacks. So I can appreciate that. Looks like he wound up with about at least 71 tackles. 141 total tackles. And I think he's looking all right. What do you think about Kevin Atkins? I know he's kind of on the outside looking in as an undrafted free agent.
Yep, outside looking in, it's going to be tough to make this roster, especially on the defensive line, which is one of our deepest positions. But I agree with you said. I can appreciate at least he's had a consistent growth throughout his collegiate career. And we have guys on our team that were undrafted free agents that came through our system, and guys that we like. Kevin Givens, Darian Daniels, guys like that who we've seen flashes from. So maybe Kevin Atkins could be the next Kevin Givens, and we bring him in as a UDFA and we stash him on the practice squad, and every year he comes back and gets better and gets better and gets better and gets better, and maybe down the line if we need to insert him into either as a starter or in a more prominent role, then we can see that from him. So again, I'm excited to see what he's able to do in mini camp and when training camp rolls around in preseason, and see if he can make a name for himself.
Yeah, I think he's going to work out pretty well. Another kid that's going to wind up doing that, where it takes him some time to get into it, and start learning the system. But all these kids are lucky they got Kasseric there as the defensive line coach. So he seems to be working out well. And as we have on the list, come on now, come up. Kalia Davis, UDFA, University of Central. So last year with just 1 sack. He didn't play in 2020, probably due to the COVID year. And then in 2019, he had 3 sacks. So young kid coming in, not much really to go on. What do you see from Mr. Davis?
This goes to Cook Smoke Sports. He had a question a while ago. He says, Mose, does Kalia Davis see the field this year? Well, he tore his ACL in, I believe, October of 2021. So he may not be ready by the time the season rolls around. And I think, we stash him. Unfortunately, he'll be like a medical red shirt. So he may not see the field this year unless we really, really need him to. And if we need Kalia Davis to see the field, then that's not a good sign because that means we have injuries on our defensive line, and now we're tapping on a rookie who's coming from an ACL tear, and we're like, listen, man, under normal circumstances we wouldn't do this, but we kind of need you right now. So I hope that we don't see him because that means the guys that we do have in the building are healthy, are staying healthy, and are playing really well. And we allow Kalia Davis to get back to 100%, and then we'll see what he has next year. So, but I'm excited about the kid. What I saw on film, again, another high energy, high motor kid. He's got a lot of moves, and because he's not as tall as some other defensive tackles, a lower center of gravity, he has that good power that he can use to kind of get guys off of their feet, to move guys the way that he needs them to be moved, and that ultimately gets him free to affect the pocket, and rush the passer from that interior defensive tackle spot. So I am excited to see what he's able to bring, but hopefully we don't see it this year because that means our defensive line is in trouble if we have to count on Kalia Davis giving us valuable snaps.
All right, give me just a sec here. Can you hear me good?
Yeah, I can hear you, bro.
Just trying to make sure. So I unfortunately having like the worst time with my internet, but either way, I appreciate my guy Mose for stopping in. Um, Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me. I see this defensive line as something that's going to be extremely formidable, and we are definitely looking to blow the league up this year. Me and Mose are looking for us to lead the league in sacks, and if we can just get the right production from the right guys, I'm telling you guys, this is definitely going to be it. Mose, go ahead and shout out everything. Drop all your stuff, your Twitter, and everybody pay attention. Definitely make sure you like and subscribe to Moses' channel. This dude is doing big, big things. So go ahead and let everybody know where to find us, brother.
Appreciate you, bro. Before I do that, Cook Smokes, Cook Smoke Sports had another question. He says, Mose, do you think Burford is a long-term starter? Spencer Burford, offensive lineman that we drafted this year. Actually, I do. I didn't know who he was, and when we took him, I was like, who is this guy? But then you go and you put on the tape. I'm not a Q, but shout out to all my Qs. Spencer Burford is a Q dog. Shout out to all my Qs. I have friends and family who are Qs. Shout out to them. But part of that, and then just part of who he is as a person, Spencer Burford is a dog, yo. Like when he's playing, like he has that nasty mentality. And I think of all the players that we took this year, him and the other lineman, Nick Zakel. I think if you look at Kalia Davis, Drake Jackson, even Ty Davis Price, Danny Gray, all of the guys we took have a level of like nastiness and intensity that they play with. And I think that's the culture that we're trying to instill. So again, if he comes in and learns, I absolutely think he could be a long-term starter. He's got some guys to beat out. It all depends on what happens with McGlinchey, how much longer Trent Williams plays for. We still have, Jalen Moore on this team, whether he slides inside or moves back outside the tackle. But I think Spencer Burford could be a long-time starter, if he does all the right things, at our right tackle spot. But, Dion, my brother, man, appreciate you. See, I got the hat on. Thank you so much for having me on. Love always talking ball with you as usual. For anybody who's, watching this, who doesn't know who I am Mose Knows. And I will tell you, although that is my name, I do not know everything. I'm always looking to learn and expand my knowledge base, but also always looking to, share what I know, and just talk football. I love it. So you can follow me on social media. What.mose.knows, mose.knows what.mose.knows, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. You can find me on all those social medias. And then if you just go to YouTube and type in Mose Knows, you will see this logo right here. And that's my channel. So covering all 32 NFL teams. A lot of things have been going on in my life right now, crazy. So I haven't been able to get to my draft recaps for all 32 teams and see what they did and give them draft grades. But that will be coming out very shortly. I'm working on that as I'm, getting some things with, work and life in order. But you can go ahead and give me a subscription over there. I greatly appreciate it. And again, Dion, as always, thank you for the time, brother. Love talking ball with you, man.
Always love talking football with you too, Mose, man. Sorry about the end of this show, like tailing off. But
It's all good, man. It's all good. We all been through it.
Got the brand new computer, baby. All I'm waiting on is these speakers to come in. That way I'll be able to do it from the computer and it'll be a little bit different. Thank everybody for stopping by. Mose has to get going. I got to get going. We appreciate y'all. Continue to represent the 49ers in every way, shape, and form. Continue to stay faithful. Continue to stay blessed. Y'all have yourselves a wonderful evening. Thank you so much. We out.